Proportional Response. Book 1, Chapter 26, Part 7, Watch the Hand. Henry finished speaking of the war on a somber note, with a remembrance for the many fallen on all sides, and paused. He dropped his chin to his chest and let the moment of silence roar through the chamber. Moments before people started to shuffle around in discomfort, he raised his head, slowly, and opened eyes full of fury, eyes which fixed on the Zoltan platform and the bound lizard standing there. His voice started quiet, with cold fury, but slowly rose in heat and volume. Now we stand here, with the architect of so much of that war in our midst. Still, an ambassador, even after all that happened. We have among us a man who has spilled the blood of countless men and women with his own hands, and whose blatant violations of both council law and chamber rules are legion. This is a man's crimes are well known to all of you. However, they must be announced to all before a judgment rendered. But I will start with a suggested punishment, as much as some. Henry again speared Kilintar with a long, hard look. Grumbles and anger accompanied the hard looks from many ambassadors as Henry continued. Might want him dead, others might consider such a fate too easy. No, my fellows, I suggest that we bar this person from ever participating in any way in any government ever again. He should never again be allowed to so much as vote. I propose a Class 1 irrevocable council decree against this person. He shall never again be allowed to hold any sort of public position within his own nation, any other nation, nor, especially, in the council. Even the most meagre of file clerk jobs with any government will be barred from him. He will be barred from accepting money for public appearances, and 2/3 of any proceeds from any intellectual property he creates and puts his name on will be transferred directly to the council's coffers. The remainder of his life will be one of obscurity, and he will die unable to ever again feel the spotlight which everyone knows he craves. Henry paused to breathe, and let the ambassadors work themselves up, and then continued. He dropped his volume a bit, but the fervour in his voice did not abate. We all know his crimes, and know him well. Let them be read into the record for all time. Everything I am about to tell you has specifics detailed in the decree, as well as standard severity classes notated. I don't think it will be hard for us to reach a high enough level of severity to take the action specified. Another roar of applause, and Inbile found himself caught up in it, but something bothered him as Henry continued. He illegally tampered with the recording devices of this chamber, giving himself the ability to speak when council procedures said he should not. He cut the microphones of other ambassadors in ways that contradict the law and letter of council procedure. He did, knowingly and with willful deceit, fail in his duty to report not only sightings, but actual interactions with the old machine. He willfully and flagrantly violated league law and made unsanctioned threats, even threats of war, against other nations. He secretly brought illegal amplification devices into these very chambers and used them. He, knowingly and repeatedly, over the course of years, treated the laws of this league as his own plaything, running roughshod over the spirit of the laws by staying a hair's breadth within them. He arranged to have an entire sapient race threatened with genocide. The other ambassadors had met the start of Henry's diatribe with low grumbles, then shouts and shaken appendages. Why, Henry, you have never been one to stomp a man when he is beaten. Why go to all of this trouble to have Kilintar officially sanctioned, now, ahead of your vote? A steady stomped rhythm began to rise all around him as his fellow ambassadors began to stomp their feet on their platforms. They stopped grumbling, stopped yelling. Now they just stomped and waved a single appendage, I the air, in time with the beat. I have never seen, never even heard, of anything like this. Henry took another chance to look up at Kilintar and sneer. There seemed to do his best to match the rhythm as he continued. He fomented rebellion in the nations of his enemies, despite the clear laws of the League against such things. He allowed a parasite to fester on all of your worlds, refusing to take any action at all. Henry shook his head and stopped. The stomped rhythm reduced eye volume, but did not stop. He did so much, and far more, but you are quite familiar with this individual and his deeds, are you not? I don't think I really need to read the entire list, though it is all here. Henry studiously refused to look up at Kilintar this time. Instead he hit some buttons, and Enable blinked in surprise as the text of Henry's proclamation leaked onto his screen. He began to scroll through it as Henry paused for dramatic effect. He tried to skip through the pages, and pages of legalize that preface the thing, a bunch of fluff about the rule of law and motives and outcomes, and something about, even when the ends justify the means. He couldn't, though. Henry had placed some sort of limiters in the document. He couldn't skip ahead. Hells, he couldn't even scroll as fast as he wanted. At last, he got to the list of crimes, and their assigned values just as Henry began to speak again. The list I have read off to you garners more than enough points to justify the action I suggest. So, I propose we hold the vote, now, without further delay, and get on with the rest of today's business. Hannibal paused in his reading, and shook his head. I've never seen Henry quite like this. He is almost playing more showman than diplomat. What is he? Wait, what did he say about amplifiers?